This one feels more like a social media influencer. Am I being too cheeky by saying that? Next up, books. I'm really picky about saying a book is my favorite book. Two of them here are like my normal go-to, so like classics. The other one is like a financial book. This was the year when I got into investing. The first book that I actually like, I wouldn't say this book. I would say first of all, it was a podcast, Simran Kaur, How to Invest. Next up is Mia McGrath on TikTok. Now, these are not books, but I'm saying these are the two things that led me to going into investing. Down to the book. I love The Psychology of Money. I feel like it's just a really calm tale about stories and how we deal with money. That's all I'm going to say about it. It's wonderful. It's actually really not something to be scared of and be like, oh, I'm not really sure if I can understand what the book is about. You will. It's in really simple everyday language, and anything you don't understand, you know what, that's why you bought the book. That's why you can take notes in the book. That's why you can tap the book. It's yours to do whatever you want to do with it. Next up, this is a book that I'm still reading, and it's Stefan Zweig, Beware of Pity. I believe I actually started reading this book because of the creator whose name is also Beware of Pity on TikTok. Alisa, I believe. I'm loving it so far, and I'm looking at this guy and I'm looking at the way he's thinking, and I don't want to blame him, but I want to shout at him and be like, why are you thinking like this? Why are you just taking everything out of context and overthinking? But at the same time, I can see him truthfully for who he is, which is a human being just like me, and I would do the same thing and I would think the same way, which is like, I'm at the point of I want to shout at him and be like, why take it out of context? Why blow things up like this? But then I relax and I'm like, you know what, I would do the same thing. One thing I would say about the guy is he understands context. He picks up on context a lot. So like, he's not the type of person who doesn't know or have social graces or can't read a room where something would be going on or someone would say something cryptic to him and he wouldn't be able to get it. He does pick up on things quite quickly so far. That's what I've noticed. Next up, this is a book that I didn't actually read this year, but it will forever and ever be one of my favorite books. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Look at it. And how much I wrote in this book. I feel like every single couple of pages, there's something that I wrote inside. There's somewhere that I colored in, like it was a color book or something. I had so much fun reading this book. It was a time of my life. I believe I purchased this when I was in Budapest. This is so cute. Young me was just so, if there's anything she is as Philippa, she's consistent. That's what I'm going to say. There's another note that I have in the book. I think maybe perhaps I'll put like a collage of the other books that I read just so you can see them visually, but I don't think any of them particularly stood out to me as like, this is the best, or this is something I want to add to my favorite books of the year. I believe I already did like a perfume rundown on TikTok. However, these are like my favorite perfumes of the year. Ease Up by Chloe. This perfume, goodness, I have absolutely nothing like this perfume in my whole collection, and I have smelled absolutely nothing like this perfume on all my perfume hunts. It's so well done. It's so unique. It's like soft and fluffy and powdery and flowery at the same time. If I could like bottle this scent and people associate this smell with me, I would have no problem. Absolutely no qualms with this. Also, the packaging just looks to die for. Hibiscus Abelmoshes by Atelier de Fleurs, Chloe as well. This is stronger than the Ease Up, but I wouldn't say way stronger than the Ease Up. This is just pure hibiscus. All the perfumes from the Chloe Atelier de Fleurs line, they just eat. For some reason, they're just the best. This, I'm speechless, okay? I don't know how to classify it. The best sleep perfume, the best for the price. Now, I don't want that to demean the value of this because I will still put this first before any other one. Would be this. It's the All About Eve perfume by Dupe. The next best sleep perfume would be Atelier de Fleurs Ease Up by Chloe. However, this perfume, goodness, I think I already waxed lyrical about this perfume on my TikTok account. It's so fresh, it's so crisp. It reminds me of like crunchy snow. Like the smell ignites this memory of like snow crunching under your feet. And at the same time, like fresh flowers and really crisp, juicy apples on a winter morning. This is the perfect vibe of Ukraine. When I was living in Ukraine though, that's the vibe it gets. Maybe because like that's the only place that I've seen snow as much as I've ever seen it in my whole life. And this ignites memory of snow. So I guess that's why I'm like relating the both of them to each other. Whenever you spray this to go to bed at night, you will sleep well, like really well. At the beginning of the year, these were my two favorite films. Addison Rae, Happy as Fuck and Chill as Fuck. Oh, I don't know if YouTube bans people for saying that. This has crisp apples. I believe there's a particular scent that I'm beginning to associate with crisp apples, just like the All About Eve by Jupe Perfume. This smells softly sweet and cool, almost feather light in a way, but there's something too sweet in it that stops it from being completely feather light sweet, in my opinion. Likewise, its counterpart Chill AF, I think it has like grapefruit and it also has peony flowers. The both of them have a very similar scent DNA, which is understandable. They're the same products from the same product house, from the same line, from the same collection, so I can see how that goes. I would say this one is a lot more floral, but the both of them still do have that powdery softness, but it isn't at the end of the day a very airy softness. It's kind of like a sweet softness. You know what this reminds me of? That one friend who likes to bake in the winter. They're really cool, really girly, really the it girl, so to say. Meanwhile, there's a different scent that reminds me of a girl who is just like this girl, but she's not like the it girl. She's more like less like the nice girl, like the cool girl, like the protagonist in the novel. This one feels more like a social media influencer. Am I being too cheeky by saying that? Well, maybe. Next up, the cheapest perfume on my rotation, this sickly sweet perfume that does its job so well. I smelled this on somebody in church and I was like, girl, what are you putting on? Tell me, what is it? This is your sickly sweet body spray, but stronger than the body spray, real stronger than the body spray. The longevity on this is speaking for itself. And it also smells really cool, because I wouldn't buy a perfume even if it's cheap just because, you know, it's cheap. I'd rather save up and buy something nicer. But this, for me, is just a staple in my collection and something that I can mix with other perfumes to make them a little bit more unique. People say this is vanilla and powdery, but for me, oh, I just saw a picture of like a biscuit, like those butter biscuits. And yes, it reminds me of like those baked butter biscuits in a way. I mean, they're going all out, but sure. Next up, we have two perfumes from Lush. We have the No Way to Say Goodbye and Turmeric Latte. Turmeric Latte is the perfect embodiment of the autumn vibes, especially like when it comes to like pumpkin season, pumpkin lattes and stuff like that. This, oh, it smells like spices, cinnamon, star anise, pumpkin, and it hits you like in the nose really strongly. Personally, I'm not a fan of perfumes that make you unable to breathe. This is not like that. It's just like really strong on the spiciness, but in a sweet, warm, spicy kind of way. Not like in the men cologne kind of spicy. This is like the spicy, real realistic spices, but in the same way, in a soft, perfumed and fragrance version of it. This is gingerbread cookies to me. This is pumpkin spice season. I don't drink lattes or coffees, but this is that vibe. It's giving me leaves, autumn, crunching lattes, that season. The guy at the store who told me about this perfume and spoke with me about it really sold the perfume to me, because on my own I wouldn't have smelled the blackcurrant, but once he told me about it and I smelled the perfume, I was like, you know what, I cannot unsmell it from right now. This has blackcurrant, benzoin, litsi, cubeba and rose. It's sweet and spicy. It's like juicy, fruity. It does remind me of Ribena, which is like a drink that we had when we were smaller, but in like a more spicy cologne type of way. There's something spicy that hits the back of your head. People say this is fruity, soft, spicy, woody, floral, amber, citrus, rose, green, and aromatic. I don't agree with everything here, but I think it's fruity, it's spicy. Amber, I can agree with. One thing I love about perfumes is when someone says something or mentions a specific note that you haven't picked up on before. Once you smell it and you pick up on it, you can't stop picking up on it. It's got like different facets to it. I love the way like Lush uses benzoin in some of their fragrances, because it does add a certain depth to the fragrance that you wouldn't find anywhere else. And it's also, I feel like, part and parcel of the DNA of some of their fragrances at this point. I have tried to use both of these perfumes as sleep perfumes before, and I would say for me personally, it's the key is not to be too heavy-handed on this the way I would be with the Atelier de Fleurs perfume or maybe the All About Eve perfumes. If it was this or like the La Rive perfumes, I would say go a little bit toned down. Depends on you, everybody's different, but I would go a little bit toned down on how much sprays and spirits I use on my body, just because I want to be able to sleep without choking. I I think I drank the most amount of teas than I have ever drunk ever before in my whole life this year alone. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. What I mean to say is, I think I drank the most amount of teas than I have ever drank in any year this particular year. That's more or less the truth, yes. This is Ceylon black tea. This is tea that, you know, I believe I'm already quite used to, but I still just love a good black tea. However, I will say that my favorite type of tea ever, my favorite basic type of tea, everyday type of tea, is an Earl Grey. This is practical if you drink a lot of tea, but if you just want like a little bit of tea, the level of this, what you call it, the sieve inside doesn't reach the bottom, and so you really have to put water up to somewhere here. This, however, I love it for the shape, I love it for the design, I love it for the curve. I just love it. And you know, I can't really say anything about it after that. Look at that. Just look at the curve that edge makes. It's so cute. I don't know. It's just so cute. This mix of vanilla, coconut, rooibos, I believe this should be called vanilla zana. That's what they call it here. So basically it's just like vanilla cream. This goes really well with milk. I have to refill it. So inside here we have like hibiscus leaves, lots of dried fruits, lots of raisins. What else is inside here? Different berries. It's like a mix of different fruits and hibiscus flowers. This one doesn't go well with milk. I wouldn't advise you to put milk in it, but you know what? Everybody has their own taste, and if you like it with milk, okay, fine. But I'm going to show you what the color looks like. It's a bright red color like this. This should actually just be like my favorite, full stop. This is rooibos tea, and I got this from Tea Contour. If you've smelled rooibos before, or if you haven't, it smells like a creamy, rich wood. Think of wood, but then think of wood that's kind of creamy. It smells like a sweet you had when you were a child that was really creamy and had a strawberry-filled jelly center in the middle of it. But then associate that smell of that favorite candy that was creamy on the outside with the strawberry-filled center to wood. Wonderful. I can go on and on and on and on and speak about how these teas have so much health benefits for you, but who am I to say that? Except we have gadgets. I'm not done with this. I hoped I would be able to be done with this for December so that I could share it with people on TikTok and be like, this is what I read for December. Unfortunately, I'm not done with this book. I do get that pressure where it's like, should I read a book quickly? Especially when I was reading Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl. I believe I spent like 3 nights not really sleeping, just trying to make sure that I completed the book because the month was about to end so I could share it on TikTok. And I don't want that to be my life where it's like I'm rushing to complete the book because I want to share it with people. If I'm not done with the book at the end of the month, I want to be able to openly say, you know what, I read this but I'm not done with it and this is where I am. Personally, I like to laminate my books, and if you notice, I don't know if you can see it on screen, but this book is actually laminated. Look, the front looks really glossy because I love to laminate my books, especially if I know that I don't like the pages of my books curling up. I'm not that type of person. I can write in a book, I can write and note and color inside a book, but I hate it when the pages of my book curl up, especially the cover. I just hate it. I don't like it. But then if you also notice, this is a book that I've traveled with from country to country. The edges of the book are still perfectly alright. They look perfectly okay. I plan to laminate this book because I don't want it to get further than the way it looks right now. I don't want it to get or start looking older than it is right now. This is what I'm trying to say is I can annotate a book, I can read it through and through, but I just hate if it looks old and crusty on the outside, which is something that stops me from borrowing my book to a lot of people. I feel like I have book lending tension, whereas like I borrow you a book and I'm thinking about it, I'm like, goodness, I hope you don't do anything bad to the book, which in its own way is not nice, especially to the person I'm borrowing it to, but that's just me and I won't apologize for it.